Can you hear me?
I guess. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Not loud and clear. It's a little quiet, but we do hear you.
Should I plug this back in? I was playing around with it.
Whoa, my voice just became so much
Never
louder.
mind.
Oh, now it's a little bit better.
Wait. Okay, I'm gonna do the theme song, and then when it's done, you guys can go ahead and talk.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no song on our end.
It didn't play yet.
Oh, okay.
What is the theme song?
Make it up.
You don't know it by now?
I couldn't even
Yeah,
sing
come
it.
on.
We're being cued to sing our theme song.
I'm just making up a random melody. I have no idea what it is.
Okay.
Good enough for me. Well, that was our theme song by Gabby. I have not heard any better voice talent than that. If you missed that, then I am so sorry because
That's
tune in on
true
America's Got
masterpiece.
Talent. The
That was my
voice
big-
it won't top it. But
We are
on that
hosting
note,
auditions
hi and
for
welcome
next
to Couch Potato Podcast. Very lighthearted show, obviously, as you can tell. And we're talking about sitcoms. We share funny anecdotes. And we quiz ourselves and put our knowledge to the test. My name is Stéphane.
I'm Gabby.
week. And I'm Maya.
And we are fired up today because we've got a bunch of 90s sitcoms. We are throwing it back and we are tuning in to 3 of our favorite 90s sitcoms. So grab some breakfast, throw on your sweats, get on your 90s jersey or whatever you need, and just enjoy the show. Have some fun with us.
90s Jersey. What is that? Is that a 90s?
No. It's just like, something retro, maybe. A
Yeah,
jersey you got from a thrift shop.
I can definitely catch the vibe.
I had mine on last week. Just a coincidence, by the way. But
You had your 90s.
yeah, it was a Packers jersey, and from at least the 90s, maybe
Oh.
even more than that.
So you were a week off.
A week ahead, but I mean, this I guess still
Foreshadowing.
works. This is not made in the 90s.
That
but
does still work. It definitely gives a 9, like the patterning on it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely gives something.
You knew just way before us that we were going to be doing this theme, so.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
are a predictor of things.
A
manifesting, I
predictor
guess.
of things.
I'm just gonna keep making up words.
Stefan, the predictor of things.
The predictor. Okay, I don't know. Like, this is not relevant for the audience. It feels so weird not being able to hear you guys in my headphones.
I don't know why. We're having technical difficulties today, more so than usual.
Yeah, 'cause we're usually pretty. Oh, look, our tech team.
Yeah. They're working hard at the back while we are
Yeah.
just chatting it
They
up
have
and
the
having a
hard
good time.
job.
They do
here.
have the hard job.
We just talk into a mic for an
Yeah,
hour.
I mean, this is easy. We just gotta sit here. But if I was in there, props to you guys.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't be able to do it. But
All right. Well, tech team, is it time to start talking about our show? Or should we just keep talking?
should you keep chatting it up?
It might be time for
Okay.
another Gabby theme song.
Oh,
Gabby, you got a theme song for us?
I don't have a theme song. I can just maybe. Oh, I hear
Did you
something.
do that, Gabby?
What?
That was Gabby singing right
Hey,
there.
yeah.
That was so not me. Was that the Stars Bill
Yeah,
theme
that was the
song?
Playing right now.
Do you need me to do that? I can do the 2.5 Men thing. That's all I got.
I Wait, I didn't hear anything that she just said, so.
Say spit.
No, I can't hear the tech team. It's all good. I did hear a theme song, and we
Yeah.
got one from Gabby, so we are ready to go, I would say. What's our first show?
So great.
Are we ready to go?
We are. What do you got for us?
I'm just gonna start talking then. All right, our first show that we're talking about today is one of my favorites, which is season 2, episode 16 of Saved by the Bell, and the episode is called "Save That Tiger." Oh my gosh, Save That Tiger. I'm so sorry, Tiger. Save That Tiger. So, I'm just going to summarize the episode. It's pretty quick. There's not too much like packed into it because it's kind of just like the same thing going on. So there's a prank war between Bay High School and Valley High School. So those are two like kind of like main high schools in this episode. Valley High School is like the high school of the main characters in the show. So like Zach, Slater, Jesse, Screech, the other ones. Sorry, I totally forgot their names. And so there's like this prank war going on that's been going on for like multiple years. And I think at this point, the principal of Valley is like, I think that we need to stop this prank war. You know, it's gone too far. It's getting too much. And then at the same time, there's a cheerleading competition. So both Bayside and Valley will be competing in this competition. And I think, you know, Valley, they kind of just want their team to win. So they're kind of doing everything that they can in the prank wars to kind of like mess up the other teams and stuff and take away like their school spirit. So I think what happens first, I'm not sure if Valley pranks Bayside first. No, Bayside definitely strikes first, I'm pretty sure. And they like do some stuff. They hang like a bunch of streamers and they put like that like silly string stuff. I don't know. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And like their lockers. So when they open their lockers, like they're being like shot with this stuff. So then Zach and Slater are like, we got to strike back. So I believe what's next is they take Bayside's mascot. No, I think I got it mixed up.
Valley starts by taking the nerds.
Yes.
Yeah. They prank the nerds.
Yes, they take the nerd. Right. And then they do something else. And then they got to strike back.
Yeah, then it's the silly string.
But I'm pretty sure Bayside is the main school. I feel like I'm getting the schools mixed up.
Yeah. Valley kind of started it.
Valley's the other school. I'm like saying Valley is like their school. No, Bayside is their school. Valley's the other school. Look at me messing things up. Because I knew something sounded wrong.
We can confirm it. Do you want to confirm it?
You can confirm it, but I think it's...
No.
I think Bayside is the main.
Okay.
Bayside is
Valley's the bad guys.
No fact check today. We're just going to go with that.
We're going to go with it. It's definitely Bayside.
I mean, I'll look it up if you want. I know.
Never mind. There is a fact check.
There's a fact check. But while you do that, I'm going to continue. So Valley takes their nerds, and then there's like the whole silly string and everything. So then Bayside, so Zach and Slater take...
Oh, it was Bayside.
Yeah, Bayside is the right one.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Moment of reflection.
Let me just
your fact check.
Think on that. So yes, then they take like their dog. It's like a little pug, I think. It's a cute dog. I don't know what kind of dog it is though. Bulldog? I think it might be a bulldog.
It's the Valley Bulls.
Oh yeah.
I think Valley Bulls.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
It could be. I'm gonna say it's a bulldog as well.
Another fact check or what?
You go ahead and fact check.
Here at Couch Potato, we only share facts, okay?
Yes. So then they have their cheer like thing going on. So this is Jesse, Kelly, and Lisa. Yes. And they kind of make like their mascots, the tiger, like kind of like a main part of their cheer. So in like return to like Zach and Slater stealing their Valley's mascot, the Valley kids decide to steal Bayside's, which is a tiger, which is Screech. So I think they call it Screech snapped, is what Zach says. He's like, he got Screech snapped, which just means that they kidnapped Screech. So then eventually, like, they got to get Screech back, but they don't. And so what happens is the Valley kid comes dressed up in the tiger, and it's kind of like he's going to, like, boycott or, like, mess up the cheer routine. But, you know, Zach and Slater are very clever. They're very smart. So they find a way to kind of make him, like, not mess it up. They, like, put ants in his pants or something. I have no idea what they were. They were just some things in a jar. And they throw it in his pants. He does a bunch of, like, back handsprings, cartwheels, all this stuff. And the routine wins. And pretty much I'm going to say that's how it ended. Bayside wins the prank war, I suppose. And that's kind of like the end of the episode. So, yeah. That's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna just say that like Saved by the Bell is like one of those shows that I watch in like grade 7 and 8, and like I would say for sure set up like an unrealistic standard of high school for me. Like I really thought high school would be like fun. Like you know how everyone says High School Musical like set up how they thought high school would be. For me, it was Saved by the Bell. I thought it was gonna be fun and all this stuff because like they just look like they're never really doing school.
They're never in class.
And I thought it was gonna be like that, and it was not. But how about you guys?
I got another fact check.
What?
It is the Valley Bulldogs. I've got it right over here.
It is the Valley Bulldogs. So yes, it was a bulldog. I was gonna say bulldog at first. For some reason, pug is just in my my brain. I'm seeing a pug, not a bulldog. I'm also not really good with dog breeds. But I would know the difference between a bulldog and a pug if I saw it in person.
Fair enough.
I'm just not good with dog breeds. Not a huge dog knower.
Maybe some dog knowledge tests later.
First, the sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm gonna fail and embarrass myself, and I don't want that.
All right.
When did you guys did you guys kind of watch Saved by the Bell growing up too?
Last night was my first time watching the show.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I had
Lots.
a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Did you watch just this one, or did you watch a few?
I watched the this episode right here with the prank wars.
Mm-hmm.
Great episode to start. If for some reason you don't want to start on episode 1, season 1, right? I don't know why. Start here.
Yeah.
Start there like I did. You'll have a lot of fun. Saved by the Bell. It throws it back, and I feel like any age, like you said, you started in grade 7.
Yeah.
Right? But you could be any age and you'll love it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I saw from there. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you understand the jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just, that was a good classic. I watched it probably when I was younger, the whole series a few times.
Oh.
I just loved the show.
Yeah.
Zach Morrison was my crush for the
Oh
longest
my
time.
gosh, are you kidding me? That's
Yeah.
my ultimate right there.
Exactly.
This is the standard for
to
every
be
crush.
Kelly Kapowski, but yeah, I always really loved Jessie too, because I just I had to look up her name because I actually forgot it for a second. But I just loved her character though, because she was the only one who was actually doing school at the same time, and I appreciated them. They all had different personalities and different kind of people you would see in your own life. So
Yeah.
I connected more with Jessie. Someone else might connect more with somebody else. So
Right.
I appreciated that about the show.
Right. But I like with Jessie too is that she's smart. She does do her work.
Yeah.
But she's also she's got her kookiness, and she's fun and
Exactly.
and quirky, but she's also head in the books as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about her.
And for a fun sitcom too, they did cover a few serious issues. I remember in one episode, Jessie started taking caffeine
pill
pills.
addiction.
Yeah, and then she
Yes.
started getting really bad, and so I mean, it for a 90s show, that was pretty good, and they
Yeah.
did cover a lot of serious
Yes.
discussions that I think are still relevant today.
Yeah, I think that was a really good one, the caffeine pill one,
Mhm.
because I feel that's such a I don't know anyone that done that, but just the stress of all the schoolwork and stuff, and you're trying to do it all.
Yeah.
That's something that could happen, and I feel
Exactly.
covering that was really good of them, because especially for a sitcom, they don't really touch on deep things a lot of the time,
Right.
because you want to keep it lighthearted, you want to keep it fun, but that was a serious topic, so you probably have no idea what we're talking about.
No, but I got the gist of it. I figured
Yes.
caffeine pills, and I do know a decent amount of people who love coffee, love caffeine,
Exactly.
love whatever it is, any form, a pill, a caffeine coffee, a caffeine drink, a energy drink or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So no, I guess it does make sense to not have, because a lot of people have that stigma that coffee is it's that cute vibe, and you need it. You need to go to Starbucks in the morning to study and feel good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but then it's you don't want to do that at 12, right? You don't want to do that at 12 years old and then be, shooting back 4 double espressos at every 3
Exactly.
hours.
Yeah.
You'll be juiced up on coffee all day. So
Right.
it was cool that they're coffee, be careful with it, right?
Yeah.
Or caffeine.
They're it's not worth it at the end of the day, and
No. Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
you're 16, what in the show? Yeah.
I mean, in high school, I don't think I feel now, if anything, in universities, when I would be drinking more caffeine if I need to stay
Right.
awake. But in high school, I was just if I'm going to bed, I'm going to bed. If the project's
Yeah.
not done, oh well.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely still relevant to today, and,
Yes.
and I think us in our lives.
Yeah,
too,
I mean,
so.
I know lots of people that drink coffee religiously. You know, they got unless they do it midnight, they're
Mhm.
drinking multiple cups of coffee. But caffeine pills, I've never really come across those. I don't know where. I guess you can just pick them up
Yeah,
at a
a lot
drugstore.
of people use it for pre-workouts,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
There's pre-workout. Essentially, it's caffeine in a scoop, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. There's taurine or whatever it is
Right.
in there. But they also come in forms of pills.
Yeah.
I had
Right.
friends that would do that right before a workout, right before a hockey game or something, and it
Yeah, we used
Sure
to
enough,
have them too,
you
like
get
in my
like
house for that.
really fired up and really pumped,
Yeah.
but your heart rate goes for the whole time, and you could like get a heart attack because you're doing sports as well, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not so lighthearted and fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
But the main point is though that like it was good to reflect on the
Yeah.
show, and it was good to see that kind of thing happen, and it stood the test of time. Even like now, it's still relevant to our lives.
Yeah, for sure. I heard a countdown, but I can't really hear. So was that a
Oh, there it is.
Now your song.
awesome? You know what? It's so weird because I was thinking like, what if we did the Seinfeld like little thing, like as our segment transitioning, and they
Look
did
what we
it.
got.
I didn't even say anything. It was just in my head. All right. Anyway, we're gonna play a game of whose line was it. So as per usual, I'm gonna say a line from the show, and you guys have to figure out who said the line. Our first line: there's a good silly, bad silly, and silly silly. Is it A, Jesse Spano? Spano. I don't know why I was saying soprano, like a singer. Spano, the class president. B, AC Slater, the friend of Zach. Or C, Lisa Turtle, the one on the cheerleading team.
I feel like
Oh.
Jesse Spano said that. Like,
I do not know. Like I watched the episode last night, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that was a cheerleading thing. Like, you know, they're all just picking on Screech. That's my guess, but let's see.
The answer is A, it's Jesse.
Ooh.
uh-huh.
Not
Yeah.
off to a good start.
So
Okay.
in this scene, it's like Slater suggests that she should fill in for the other cheerleader because like they're down a cheerleader, and she's like, "No, I'm the class president. I'm not a silly schoolgirl." And then she kind of like, Lisa and Kelly are kind of offended, and then she's like, "No, like not silly. Like there's a good silly, bad silly, silly silly." Anyway, our second line is "Happy Birthday from Valley." Is it A, Jesse Spano, the class president? B, Samuel Powers or Screech, which is the mascot, the tiger, or C, Kelly Kapowski, who is also on the cheerleading team.
I'm gonna go Screech. Gotta love Screech.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I feel like it can't be two Jessies in a row.
Or could it?
So I'm also gonna shoot with Screech.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The answer is B, Screech. So this is when Valley comes and like covers it with the streamers and the toilet paper and everything, and he kind of says that to their principal. All right, last line.
That's right.
Yes. The last line is the truth. Wow, what a concept. Is it A, Lisa Turtle, the cheerleader? B, AC Slater, the friend of Zach, and he helps pull the prank on Valley? Or C, Zach Morris, who plays a large part in all the pranks on Valley?
That sounds like a Zach
Yeah,
line.
it's a little bit sarcastic, so I'm gonna shoot with Zach.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely is Zach. That's when he tells, and I don't know if you guys have seen the reboot. There's like the newer version of Saved
Oh,
by the
I haven't seen it.
No, okay, I
saw
watched
that there
it.
was a reboot, but I did not see it.
Yeah, so I watched it, and the son that they have for Zach is so much like him.
Really?
Like that is something he would say in like the reboot. So that's how I knew like right away it was like Zach. I was like,
yeah.
they made the characters so similar to his father, which is like because there's even like there's a prank war in the new one too. Like they kind of could cover that in like the new seasons of
Oh,
the
cool.
yeah. So it's like all the parallels. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how much time we have.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. Awesome. Covered it. All right.
I got
moving on.
3 for 3, guys. So I
was
think I'm
good.
winning so far.
All right, Maya.
Okay, with that very Seinfeld intro, we're going to kick it into Seinfeld, my favorite 90s sitcom. We're going to be doing Season 7, Episode 6, the iconic Soup Nazi episode. For any of you who don't know what Seinfeld is, it's basically follows the lives of Jerry, Elaine, Kramer, and George, Jerry Seinfeld. And he's a comedian, of course, and those are just his friends, and they get into some crazy antics in New York, and you just follow along with them. And so in this episode, Jerry, Elaine, Kramer, and George discover a soup shop with a strict owner who accepts who only accepts customers if they act a very certain way, but the soup is to die for. So everyone listens to this guy. He's nicknamed the Soup Nazi for his like strict regime in his restaurant, but again, everyone follows because the soup is incredible. So around in the beginning of the episode, Elaine also finds an armoire and she buys it, but she can't move it into her building because it's a Sunday. So she asks Kramer if he'll keep watch of the armoire overnight. And Kramer says he will if Elaine gets him soup from the Soup Nazi. So Kramer, while she's trying to get the soup, Kramer gets robbed by street toughs, which are not exactly street toughs. They kind of just yelled at him and he was like, okay, take it. And he loses the armoire. But Elaine doesn't get the soup either because she fights with the Soup Nazi and doesn't follow the rules because, she doesn't think that he's all that he's cracked up to be. Kramer, who is friends with the Soup Nazi, ends up coming back to the soup shop, getting his own soup and talking to the guy, and the Soup Nazi offers him a new armoire. Elaine goes to thank the guy for getting the armoire from him, but he's rude again to Elaine. But later on, Elaine finds all of the recipes for his soups in the armoire. And so then she goes back and threatens to shut down his entire business because she's got the real evidence right here, And so meanwhile, in the rest of the show, Jerry and his girlfriend, his new girlfriend, are being very annoying to the rest of the group, talking in baby voices all the time, gotta love that, and giving nicknames like Schmoopy. George tries to give him a taste of his own medicine, but let's just say it doesn't really work out for him. That's kind of what happened this episode. It's kind of one of my favorites. I love the Soup Nazi episode because I think it's so funny. Like, why does the shop run like that?
I don't know.
But yet everyone obeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you guys seen the episode? What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I watched it last night. I'm sure I've seen it before, but it's actually really funny. So, in like some point in the episode, when the Soup Nazi goes like, "No soup for you," I called my mom. Like, I'm like, because in my household, constantly people are saying "No soup for you." I don't know why. They just say it, and so when I'm watching the episode, I'm like, is this line from Seinfeld? And then like I got it, and like I'm gonna say 40% of my family's vocabulary is just quoting Seinfeld. I swear.
Really?
It's like everything they say is like. So when they said the "no soup for you," I was like, oh my gosh, it's this episode, and like it was so funny. I feel like every episode of Seinfeld is just like really funny, but this one is just like, I love this guy. It's just weird, but I love it. Like,
right?
It's a weird way to run your business, but go for it.
I am dying for a bowl of that soup.
Oh, right.
They sold it. It looks so good, and was not a big fan of Elaine during that show because she ruined it for the Soup Nazi.
She took down the
kind of did.
Yeah, she stole the recipes. Like, she easily could have just given them back when she found them in the armoire. She just refused to obey by the system. But I'm like, that is cool. I thought that it's cool. He's got a system, and you play by the rules, you get your soup.
Yeah,
it's really simple, and the soup makes up for it. Like, if it wasn't good soup and he has a system like that, not cool. But like, his soup is so good that you're like, you can do that. And I was like, you know what? I like that. I think it makes it. That's why there's a line. Like, if anyone could just go, no one would want to, right? But now I want some soup from that shop, and I'm really sad because Elaine ruined it for me. It's kind of like do you guys know about that club in I believe Berlin? It's I'm gonna butcher the
super
pronunciation.
Underground. Yeah.
It's called like the Berghain or something like that. I could be totally wrong with the pronunciation, but anyway, the exact same concept. There's this badass looking guy at the door, right? A street tough, a soup Nazi if you want, and he's the bouncer.
If you will.
And you stand in the queue for like 2 hours, just like the soup Nazi, and you go there, and he just looks at you up and down, gives you the vibe check, and he says, "No soup for you," or "Yes, you can come in the club." It's one or the other, and
and no phones or anything.
There's nothing to it. Yeah, there's nothing like, oh yeah, you have to like dress in a nice silk shirt, or you have to do this, you have to like no tattoos or whatever. There's nothing to it. He just looks at you, And if he likes your vibe, you're in. And I don't know what it is, but this guy's scary, so nobody messes with him.
Yikes.
And apparently it's a cool clubbing experience. So I'm like, you know what? The club works, the soup works. I like it. But Elaine was not a fan favorite on this episode.
Oh,
Because
let me
she just-
counter
she
that
didn't
with you,
vibe it.
but she's got the recipes now. You could go to Elaine, get the recipe for some wild mushroom soup. There you
I
go.
don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
that's
Like
true.
my grandma can give me her recipe for her soup or whatever it is, but I'll never make it just as good. There's something I don't know how she does it.
The soup Nazi.
You want the soup Nazi soup and the soup Nazi soup only.
Yeah, made by
Okay.
him. Like there's I guarantee Elaine will not make it taste the same way.
Yes,
Right.
the love and heart is not going to be the same. Like she's not going to pour her heart into making that soup like he
The tender love and
Exactly.
care of the soup
Well-
Nazi.
right? Like made with love, a little sprinkle of extra love on there.
Exactly. Like
She's not doing
Kramer
that.
said, he's like, you suffer for your soup.
Right.
And Elaine just didn't get that. She
Right.
just didn't get it.
True.
I see what you're saying.
Fair enough. Okay, so stepping away from the soup Nazi, what did you guys think of Seinfeld as a whole? Like, do you have any favorite characters? What do you think? Does it hold up at all these years later? Slightly problematic, maybe not.
I mean, it could be seen as problematic in this because I don't want to be like mean here, but a lot of people like to call this generation like snowflakes, meaning like everything
yeah.
kind of like bothers them. But I mean, like if you can't handle it, just don't watch the show, you know?
There you go.
Yeah, fair.
Because it's got its sense of humor, and I feel like Jerry Seinfeld is such a great comedian, and like, it's just so funny. So
Yeah.
anything I don't really care like if there's something problematic. Like I do, I guess if it's like really, but I don't think.
Yeah, you have to take the time into consideration. Too.
Yeah.
It may not have been made today. but-
Exactly. And I think they just put it on Netflix not too long ago too. So they couldn't have put it on Netflix for everyone to see if there was something seriously wrong with it.
Right. That's
So,
the point.
I definitely think that it's really funny. I think everyone should be watching. Like, not even you don't have to watch like every episode, like 1 through I don't know how many seasons there are. Like, you don't even have to do all that. Like, just any episode like sporadically. Like, is how kind of I used to watch it. It'd be on like TV, and I would just like at like
Yeah.
midnight it would come on. If I'm up at midnight, nothing else to watch, and Seinfeld's on, like I'll click on it. You don't have to like you can just watch any episode anywhere and kind of like get the vibe and like. It's always funny, you know, and it doesn't have to follow each story. Like you don't have to follow along
Yeah.
to kind of understand it. So I really like that about the show.
Yeah, it's when you can definitely you don't have to go in order for it, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think, Stéphane?
I gotta say my favorite character of the show is the bass player. Whoever's behind that theme song,
Oh, I was
they made
bass
such
player?
a banger. Every time there's an
Mm.
episode, every time anyone hears it, like you guys said, like that's
It's
even the theme song we've got going on. That's just like a spin off of it. It's like it's the iconic. It almost represents almost all sitcoms. Is the Seinfeld bass line, right?
That's a good point.
It-
It's a basis for a lot of shows that we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Seinfeld, like that show, kind of pioneered that, and because it was such a hit, everyone kind of just loved that funky, silly song that it transitioned it, and now any sort of sitcom or even like a late night show, there's gonna be some sort of bass that's a little similar to the Seinfeld bass.
Yeah.
So, maybe Seinfeld did not pioneer it. I'm not. It's not a fact. I don't know if we're fact checking this anymore, but they for sure had a huge influence on it. That's no
Yeah.
doubt that they. So I have a lot of fun with that. Like listening to it just between the shows. I'm like that's a fun tune. I like it. It gets me fired up. Gets me
Yeah.
going.
For sure.
Yeah. It must have definitely popularized it, for-
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like that's the first place I saw like that kind of distinctive bass sound. So, yeah, that's a really good point. I actually never really thought about that, but it is a staple for a lot of I think shows, even in terms of comedy or the way they set up the show. It must have influenced a lot of shows that we've actually like watched and reviewed since on the Couch Potato podcast. So that's kind of fun to see when we're reflecting on like 90s sitcoms or older sitcoms too. So, yeah.
I guess the other thing I thought was really cool is they got a unique way of starting the show, right? It starts with Jerry Seinfeld doing stand up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And based on his stand up, the episode starts, which I thought was really cool. And I've always wondered, I don't know if you guys maybe have the answer for me or not, is I wonder if he writes these jokes for stand-up, and based off of his jokes, they make an episode, or the other way around, they make an episode, and he's like, okay, now I need to make a stand-up about soup, right? To like match for. So I'm wondering which one it is, or if he just got so much stand-up that he can just look through it and they can find something that matches. Like it could be either or. But I thought,
Does he draw inspiration from the show, or does the show draw inspiration
yeah,
from him?
exactly. But either way, I think it's smart and clever. One, it's unique, it's fun, it's a new different way of starting a show. But two, it advertises for his stand-up at the same time. Because you could be like, oh, like I didn't know Adam Sandler did stand-up. I just know he's a comedian, right, on TV. But now you're like, oh no, Jerry Seinfeld, he also does stand-up.
Yeah.
I like his show. Let me check him out, right? And then
And he's like just playing himself in that show, and like they also have in that show they also like make the same show, like it's very meta, like, and he's also playing the same character again, so that's fun to see for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time for Whose Line Was It? Seinfeld edition. We've got a few lines here from the Soup Nazi episode, so let's see if you guys can guess it. First line is, he's not a Nazi. He just happens to be a little eccentric. Most geniuses are. Was it Elaine who said it, the realist armoire lover? Kramer, the neurotic neighbor? Or George, the pessimistic best friend?
it's easy, George, right there.
I think that's Kramer.
No.
Ooh.
I gotta go for George. Well, let's see.
It is actually Kramer.
Ooh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah, when Kramer asks Elaine for a bowl of soup from the soup Nazi's place, Elaine asks if it's from the infamous soup Nazi, to which Kramer says this. But close. I feel like George could have said that too, but the way it's delivered, it's a
I
very
think it's like
Kramer
his-
line.
Kramer is praising this guy.
That's
I
true, because
stand
Kramer
corrected.
understands the soup Nazi.
He understands him.
Yeah, they were just chatting it up.
Yeah.
The second line is, "You're through, soup Nazi. Pack it up. No more soup for you." Next.
Whoa.
Who said that? Was it Elaine, the realist armoire lover, once again? Kramer, the neurotic neighbor? Or George, the pessimistic best friend?
Now this one I know because I got sad when I heard this line. A little part of me died. I was like, I'm not going to be able to try that soup, right? Like if that was an iconic spot that's still in New York, I would probably fly there just for a bowl of soup.
Yeah.
But I now know that because of this line, there's no more soup.
And who is it?
Elaine.
Yeah, you were talking bad about her the entire show.
Just complete smackdown
In
on
this
Elaine.
specific episode, she did not. She ruined my soup. I wanted the soup, right? But
Well, you're right.
overall, Elaine's fun.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It is Elaine who says that. When Elaine discovers the recipe, she goes to confront the soup Nazi, who's always rude to her. And this is what she says. Third line, last one we've got. "So essentially, you chose soup over a woman." Who said that? Was it Jerry, the witty comedian, Kramer, the neurotic neighbor, or Elaine, the realist armoire lover?
I'm gonna say this one is Elaine again.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot for Elaine. I know Jerry's the one who chose soup over a woman.
Right.
I don't really blame him. Like,
I mean, she
Come
was
on.
very annoying.
Wow, Stéphane, you're really connecting to the soup Nazi.
yeah, the soup, not the
soup, the
Nazi,
soup.
but the soup. I want to try the soup.
The
you
soup
know?
itself. Well, you guys are right. It is Elaine. When Jerry tells Elaine that he abandoned his girlfriend for soup, for the soup Nazi soup, she says this. So essentially, he chose soup over a woman, and Jerry replies with, "It was a bisque." So.
All right. Well, now that we're all hungry for soup, or at least I am,
Just
let's.
you.
All right, maybe just me. I'll get a bowl of soup after the show. But let's dive into our third show here. We will be talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and specifically, we'll dive into episode 22 of season 1, called Bank Shots. So in this one here, Vivian goes to Berkeley, so she leaves the house and she's got to give some lectures. So that leaves Hillary in charge. Initially, she actually leaves Jeffrey, the butler, in charge, and Hillary protests. She's like, you know what, I'm 21, I'm old enough to take care of these kids. So Vivian's like, I'll give you a chance. And if you don't know who Hillary is, she almost plays that, dumb blonde, spoiled, rich character. That's kind of the best way I could put it in a sentence. But essentially, she's definitely very spoiled and doesn't necessarily understand the value of things. She loves to shop and etc. And out of that just comes a really innocent humor because she does or says things without really understanding the gravity or the situation or why she said something behind it, and it just becomes really funny. And what she did in this case is she's like, oh yeah, being a parent, easy, right? Because like doesn't understand. That's also probably just the fact that she's young, right? But it also plays into her character, Hillary's ignorance, right? Ignorance to being a parent. She takes care of the kids for the day or the couple days that Vivian is gone, and she's just the entire time repeating classic parent lines of like, all right, Carlton, now we need to talk about the birds and the bees, or like, all right, I didn't know there were gonna be boys at this party, Ashley, like, and things like that. And then by the end of the show, when Vivian comes back, she's like, oh, I don't know, I did a good job, I think I taught them all some valuable lessons. And then she's like, oh, so where are the kids? And she's like, right now. Like, what do you mean, where are they? She's like, I don't know. So obviously she didn't really figure it out. She had no idea where they were this entire time, but in her mind she's like, oh yeah, I nailed it. So that's what happened in this episode, and that's a very good way of introducing Hillary's character. Moving on to, I guess, the other half of the episode, Phil, or Uncle Phil, and Will. They've got a very special dynamic going on. Will is always cool and having fun and trying to be silly, and Uncle Phil is always, you got to get your grades, you got to be strict, and he's hard on Will. He's tough, and they throw sarcastic jabs at each other the entire time, so that's really funny. But in the end, they all love each other, and as much as like they might hate to admit it, right? You can see it, which is really cool. It's a really nice dynamic. People love to see it, and I don't know if there's any there might be better episodes, but this one's a great episode to showcase that. Will wants to go to the pool hall. He also can't take the car because he's banned from using it. Uncle Phil is like, don't do that, right? Will, he's got the little devil on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. That's Will, essentially. He's got two devils on there. So he goes to the pool hall, steals the keys to the cars, and he loses the car. Like, he loses a couple games of pool. He got hustled, right? So now he owes $500. He only has 200, so they're keeping the car. When Uncle Phil finds out about this, what he does is he goes to the pool hall and he starts losing a game of pool, right? And Will is like, what are you doing? You're embarrassing us. Now we were down even more money. And then when the guy raises the stakes to $100 a ball, Uncle Phil whips out his pool cue, starts dancing, takes off his jacket, and he's having a blast, and he totally wins. Wins everything back. And you see Uncle Phil having some fun. You see Will kind of looking up to him, which is like, as much as Will probably hates to admit it, he definitely looks up to Uncle Phil. And you see Uncle Phil kind of, showing his fun side that he doesn't necessarily like to show. He probably hates to admit that, like, he likes to have fun and stuff like that. He has to be like, all right, we're strict. You got to be good. You got to straighten up, Will. But in this episode, they had a bit of bonding, which was a lot of fun, and you kind of saw their dynamic. Plus, there's some funny lines around the whole pool stuff. So I thought, cool episode. It's a lot of fun. It's nice and funny, but you get a good glimpse of at least Hillary, Will, and Uncle Phil. Jeffrey, fair enough. He's the butler. He's always got something wise and funny to say. And then as for Carlton and Ashley, if you don't know, also iconic characters. The Carlton dance came from this. So I'm gonna branch off of this. If you guys have seen the episode, you got anything you want to say, let me know. But if not, I just gotta say, like, I think we've got a lot of iconic things from this show. From the theme song to the style in the way people are dressed, or even the way just Will acts with his swag. He dances and does different things. and like Carlton and his dance and stuff like that. There's a lot of lines like people quote Seinfeld. Same thing with Fresh Prince. So, what is the first thing that pops up when you guys think Fresh Prince?
Like pops into our minds.
I mean, Will Smith obviously came from the show, obviously iconic. I think Carlton Dance too.
Yeah.
Some of the ones you've already listed. But yeah, it's just a really good show overall. I have seen this episode, but I don't remember it as well as I probably should. But I always loved this show. I always really loved Hillary too. I think even though maybe in this episode she's a little aloof, I think she like finds herself throughout the show, and she's just always like a fun character that they interact with. But I really liked Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I mean I liked the preview. I liked this episode when I did watch it. So
So I guess like Fresh Prince was also one of those shows that if I like come home from school, like in middle school, and just pop it on the TV, if it's on. So like a lot of the episodes I wouldn't remember good details about every episode, but I know it's there. Like I know somewhere in my brain. But I would just always remember the theme song. Like I think Fresh Prince has probably the most iconic theme song of like all sitcoms.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah.
Like yeah, there's other good ones. There's some good runner-ups, but like this one is like
Do you guys know the rap? Do you know the intro?
I know it. There's some parts that are kind of like gibberish to me, so I kind of just go blah, 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 but then
Same.
there are other parts that I actually do know the words.
But I think it's such a good song. They've got the music video, which is super cool for it, right? Which I think, well, I guess the music video, but I guess the credits or whatever it is. But it's a lot of fun. It's really silly. It's self-explanatory. But
Funky.
I think the most important part is that you could hop in season 7, episode 13, or whatever it is, and you've never seen the show, right? But just from that 20-second or whatever it is theme song,
yeah,
you understand the concept.
it tells a
because
story.
You know, there's some other, different theme songs. They're like, all right, this is fun. There's some guitar. There's something cool. Everyone dances. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
But this one here recaps the premise of the show, which I think is really important. It's like, all right, this is a story about how my life got turned upside down, right?
Yeah.
Like, was in Philly, got into basketball, got some trouble. My mom said, you got to go to Bel Air, straighten up. And now I'm here, and look at this mansion. I'm blown away. Let's go have some fun. And that's exactly, you get the vibe of the show from the theme song, and they executed that really well so that anyone can watch it,
Yeah,
any episode, and be like,
It's really smart. Yeah, exactly.
that's
Like,
exactly what I was
watch it.
thinking. Because if you just pop in, you're like, what's this guy doing in Bel Air? You know, like, but the theme song literally it says like what's happening and why he's there, and it's like it's really cool. I like that the theme song does that because no other theme songs really do that. So I totally agree. I've always wanted to like live in the like in their house, like but not only because like they're rich, because like obviously like their house is nice and stuff. They got a butler, but it's just like the chaos. Like I feel like having a brother like Will would be so much fun, and like that house would just always be kind of like chaotic. But like I love chaos. Like I live for chaos. So I just feel like
fair enough.
this house would be so much fun to live in, and like every episode kind of like shows that like just kind of the chaotic family vibe. But I love it.
How crazy it would be if you were living such a like, I don't know, sophisticated lifestyle in Bel Air, and then all of a sudden your crazy cousin comes to live with you, and like it would be fun. I think.
Yeah, it would
like,
be so fun.
what a culture shock. Like, Ashley, cool, she's having fun. Hillary's doing her own thing. But, like, Carlton is like, whoa.
Who is this?
Who's crashing on my party here? Because,
Exactly.
Carlton's the sweater guy, if I have to put it in one sentence. Right? His idea of fun is probably sitting down, relaxing, reading a book or
Yeah.
something. And then Will is the polar opposite.
Exactly.
His idea of fun is,
Going out.
Going out.
let's go out and do this. So they do bond really well throughout the episode, but they have completely different ideas. They clash because of that, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of fun.
Have you guys seen the reboot that they just started, the Bel Air?
I've
I've
heard
seen it
about
as a thing.
I want to check it out. Like, they They made it into a drama, right?
Yeah, it's a very serious take on it. I haven't personally watched it myself, but I've seen the trailers. Like apparently all the characters are the same, but they've got it's a very serious tone to it, which
It does look a lot
be
more
interesting to see how they converted a sitcom, like such a classic sitcom.
Yeah,
into this.
yeah. I saw it and I was wondering. I'm like, am I gonna watch this? I'm like, maybe I'll tune in and see what it's about. But
I
it
think the
doesn't.
guy got Will Smith's blessing. So
Yeah. No, I saw like the trailer
That's
on
good.
Will Smith's YouTube. So like Will
Oh.
Smith was all for it.
Wow.
Said he loved it. I think it looks really, really good. I just think whoever watches it can't expect it to be funny.
No.
If they expect it, oh yeah, I'm gonna laugh during this, you might be a little disappointed. Go watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But if
Yes.
you want to watch Bel-Air, I think it's like, all right, like this is gonna be your new teen drama or something. Like it might be your new
Right.
Riverdale, your new Outer Banks.
dear
or
God.
something
don't
like that.
Riverdale.
Please
Bel-Air.
don't say River. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's not put anything associated with Riverdale.
We're a sitcom show.
Riverdale's so far over there.
Fair enough. I haven't seen the show. I just know it. But
Right. No, but you're right. It's probably like along those
It'll
lines.
be closer to something like that.
Yeah.
But
it'll have a serious tone, and I
Yeah.
think if you're looking for something serious, I like the trailer, so I say it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of
Yeah.
and then you got the same characters, so you feel attached to the story, and it's got this new perspective. I think it's fun, but if you're looking for something funny, there's nothing else than the iconic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just go watch
Yeah.
the Fresh Prince.
yeah.
Have some
They're on
fun with the theme
show,
song,
yeah.
the whole family dynamic in a big house. What
Everyone
else do you
will
want?
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, time for another game of Whose Line Was It? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air edition. Let's just hop right into it. Next time you go out of town, I beg you, please just put food and water in a dish. Who said that? A. Ashley Banks, the youngest daughter. B. Carlton Banks, the middle child, the sweater guy. Or C. Will Smith, the silly swag nephew of Uncle Phil.
Ooh.
I literally have no idea. Oh my goodness.
Next time you go out of town, I beg of you, please just put food and water in a dish.
Like I want to say it could be Carlton, but it could be Will.
Maybe it's Ashley because Ashley's supposed to be the mother figure this time.
No, she's the youngest.
Oh, right. Sorry, that's Hillary. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
I mixed up. Okay, yeah, then definitely Carlton.
Gosh. Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah. Let's just go with you. Okay, you go with Carlton. I'll go with Will.
Okay.
One of
there
them's
you
gonna
go.
be right.
One of them's got to be right. And you guys are correct. It is Carlton.
Okay.
At the end of the show, when Vivian comes back, Hillary is bragging about, taking care of the kids so well. And then Ashley and Carlton storm in. They're like, Mom, I'm so glad you're here. They give her a big hug. And they're like, next time you leave, just put food in the bowl. Because
Right.
she didn't feed us.
Right.
Second line. I don't think all this legal stuff is going to work. The only legal phrase these people know is, will the defendant please rise? Is that Philip Banks, the strict uncle and dad who came to Will's aid and knows a few things about law? B. Jeffrey the butler, family's butler who tags along on the trip to the pool hall? Or C. Will Smith, the rebellious teenage nephew who always gets himself into trouble?
Will.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. For sure, Will.
Yeah, you got it. That's a Will line. He's making fun of Uncle Phil, who's trying to do his whole law stuff with the girl at the pool hall, and essentially it's all part of his hustling technique. So he knew what he was doing, Uncle Phil. But Will was like, "Come on, this is not gonna work. You're embarrassing me."
Yeah.
If we can quickly do a third one, someday you'll have children of your own and you'll understand. A. Vivian, B. Hillary, or C. Philip.
Vivian.
I don't know why, but I feel like Hillary's gonna say that.
That's true, because she's trying to tell maybe like others, like you'll understand, because
Yeah.
she thinks she's a mother in this.
I'll say
episode.
Hillary. You say
Vivian? Okay.
It would make sense that it's Vivian, but it's actually Hillary. She's like, yeah, when you have kids of your own, she doesn't even have kids.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's why it's a Hillary line.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Says things that don't make sense to her, right?
Good old Hillary.
Doesn't make sense to anyone.
Not bad, not bad. I think you guys went 3 for 3, 2 for 3, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Right on. So, after a couple technical difficulties at the start, some singing, some songs, we came a long way. We had a good time. We talked about our 90s sitcoms. We threw it back, and we looked at the classics. Seinfeld, Saved by the Bell, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. 3 iconic shows that you definitely have to check out if you haven't seen. We want to know, what is your favorite classic sitcom show, and what should we talk about next week? Let us know on couchpotato.show on Instagram. So couchpotato.show. Check us out on Instagram. Let us know what you think. And besides that, come back to Spirit Live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and we'll have some new sitcoms for you.
See you next week.
See you next week.